Red light cameras actually keeping you safe? The Florida Department of Highway and Motor Vehicles recently released its red light camera report for 2015 and 16, and the statistics were actually pretty grim. Intersections with red light cameras saw an increase in total crashes. Now, according to the report, rear-end crashes increased by 11%, and incapacitating injury crashes increased by nearly 27%. Joining us this morning to talk more about it, what your rights are, attorney Whitney Boan. Always great to see you. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks.
When you heard this, what did you think?
I thought what I've thought all along, which is that these red light cameras don't actually serve any legitimate purpose in protecting the public. I think that they serve a function in terms of making money for those companies that produce them and maintain them.
Right.
I don't think that they serve any purpose in terms of prohibiting people from running red lights. It's not going to stop someone from running a red light anyways, but it also shows that they serve no purpose at all.
When city officials say this is strictly about keeping you safe, this is, we're not doing this to make money, do you believe that?
No. I do not. I think that it's pretty obvious in the way that it's even structured, in that people receive a notice in the mail and they have the option of paying a private company before they're even issued a uniform traffic citation by a law enforcement officer. And so a lot of people, when they receive that, of course, it's almost like extortion in a way. People receive that and they feel like, I have to pay this. They don't even usually know the difference unless they consult with a lawyer that they haven't even been cited at that point in time. Now, if you don't pay that to the company, yes, you are usually automatically cited after that by a law enforcement officer. But I think that the way that it's structured was always designed for the increase in revenue for these companies and perhaps for the state too. But
so when you get right down to the nitty-gritty of it, how does a camera prove who's driving the car? And it sort of goes back to the old way the law used to be, which was the officer sees you commit the crime and therefore you have an eyewitness and the officer writes you the ticket. How do they know it's you?
Well, there's been a lot of legislation and there's been a lot of litigation about the issue of whether or not a camera can authenticate who's driving a vehicle or not, whether it's self-authenticating in and of itself because it's a camera and it's not a human being that witnessed the infraction, like a law enforcement officer.
Right.
Our statutes make it possible for these cameras to be admitted, and there's a presumption of their correctness, even despite the fact that it's just a camera. It's not a cop who saw you do it.
Right.
So there's challenges to these issues. There's been a lot of challenges about that over the years since these red light cameras came into play, but honestly, they're allowed to use these videos, and there's a presumption that those videos are accurate.
And now we're seeing these cities start to get rid of them.
Right.
What is the reason behind that?
Well, I think that there's a lot of public outrage, for one thing. I think people have kind of seen behind the curtain, and seen the wizard at this point and realized that, this is not so much about people not running red lights as it is we've got private companies making money. It's not even like the state or counties are making all of the money off of this. You've got private companies making money off of this. Yeah. So I think that public outrage has been a lot of the impetus for that.
The tick-off factor. Always great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us on a busy Monday morning. All right, it is 7:40.